Podcast
time is here again.
We have the pre-show going on.
We do this.
All right.
And then
Put out,
retweet it.
Yeah, retweet out. Tweet out everything. People know.
I also titled it this week.
Oh, wow.
Because I was actually remembering that that's a thing I can do.
Slow down, overachiever. Dang.
Strixhaven discussion time.
Yes.
Retweet. There we go.
New book. New book.
Yeah. So we should probably say that that's a thing that we talked last week about how we didn't know exactly what... if you're trying to get it back, click that.
Yeah. Did I miss something?
Yeah.
I did. Go for it.
Got a little arrow up there.
Oh, there it is. What are you doing?
Last week we talked about how we didn't have anything to say, really, this week, and we would probably be going back to
You're like a standby.
Warlock Wizard.
Yeah.
And then we remembered that a book come out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It dropped like yesterday. The
Yeah.
book has been out like no time at all.
Well, we had him out. We'd mentioned it.
Right.
This book was coming back about a month ago, but I don't look at anything.
Right.
When a new book's out and we're going over it, so I'm not looking at news and stuff. And then that's usually what I do.
Yes.
Before the podcast.
Yes.
Before we do this. So I don't know. Yes, but good. We do have a new book to talk about. I'm very excited about it.
You have the chat up, so I'm gonna go full.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
Full
I can
screen
see.
here.
I can see what they're saying.
For anybody who doesn't know, I have the book up here on my laptop. So it's not that I'm just looking down at the ground. I am actually looking at the book. Yeah, ads are getting weird on Twitch again lately. And we're not running extra ads during the podcast anymore. But the auto ads are kind of rough. I got one the other day on the channel itself when I accessed the Twitch page just to look.
Yeah.
And it was like a 4-minute ad.
Dang.
I was like, this is Twitch. It's not YouTube. What are you doing?
I don't know. That's
People trying to watch a stream, man.
How's an ad 4 minutes?
I don't know.
Look, 30 seconds or less.
Yeah.
Tell me what this is about in 30 seconds or less. You work harder.
I've seen YouTube videos that felt like entire movies that were 4
Dude,
minutes long.
I had one pop up was 28 minutes.
Yeah.
28 and a half minutes. I'm like, no.
I think they just need to understand that nobody ever actually liked commercials. We look at commercials fondly now because we don't have to watch them.
Right.
You
right.
know? But back in the day, we hated them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what, but of course they did, I don't know. There's still some, I hate marketing. Yeah. But there's some funny stuff, right? There's funny commercials and everything, but like it's 30 seconds or less.
Yeah.
Look, I understand this is how, the money gets made and everything.
Well, like you don't need. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but like you don't need a Red Robin commercial, right? You don't need to show me the food. You literally just need to go Red Robin.
Yeah.
Yum, and then you got me. When I pass a Red Robin, I'm gonna go, hey.
Yeah. Don't say that.
That's all you got to do,
I don't know.
But that's not how they look at it.
No, not even. Anyway.
Don't even get started on marketing aimed at children either.
I don't know.
This new toy is the best toy that's ever been made. We're going to show you it does things in this commercial it definitely doesn't do in real life.
Somebody's talking to you.
I'm a pepper, you're a pepper?
Yeah. That was not directed at me.
I know. I know. That's in my brain forever.
Yeah.
That and the Panda commercial.
Just
Did
they still, I remember, it was weird. You say people hated commercials. In a way, yes.
Yeah.
But also, there used to be shows on TV that were like greatest commercials from around the world.
That's true.
It was a TV show of commercials.
All I'm saying is there are some great commercials in other parts of the world.
Yeah. We've had some good ones, man. Don't cut us short.
That's true. Have you ever seen the Long Long Man commercials?
I don't know.
So there's a Sakura Gumi candy in Japan, and instead of just doing the same commercial over and over again, they filmed an entire 30 minutes, and then split it up into different commercials.
Okay.
And it tells this entire story of a man and a woman that are in love, but he only eats the small Sakura Gumis.
Yeah.
And then everywhere they go, she keeps saying this other man that has the long Sakura Gumis. And every time it cuts to him, it just goes, long, long man.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it's really funny. Those commercials are great.
Let's go. Anyway.
But imagine if you saw them out of order. You'd be so confused.
Well, there was actually, I can't remember, there was a company that did that.
Christmas cheese. Yeah, that's true.
I got him cheese. There was a company that did it here. I don't think it was that long.
Yeah.
But it did tell a story.
That's a great podcast topic for some time. It's slogans. Because, like, my brain was going over commercials, and I cannot see a K's jewelry without going, every kiss begins with K.
Yeah.
You know?
The magic of the jingle.
Yeah.
So some are right, some aren't.
You remember McDonald's used to be, we love to see you smile.
Yeah, I remember what was it? I want a Big Mac with DLT, a quarter pounder with some cheese fillet, a hamburger, a cheeseburger, a Happy Meal, the whole thing. Use Lint liquor.
Coffee commercials.
That was an Orbit commercial. That was very well done.
What about the Folgers commercial with the incest siblings?
All right, you had to go a little bit. Let's move on. Let's
talk Strixhaven. So, you've never seen that commercial, just look up Folgers incest commercial. You'll find it.
It's a thing.
You'll find it.
It's a thing.
So yeah, Strixhaven is our next book, which is kind of interesting how quickly these two books came out. Because in a lot of ways, Fizban's was different. It's not an adventure book. And it's not really a source book. It is, but it's more about like a DM boost book. Like, here's more things you might want.
How do you put it? I guess I'd see it more as like a topic book.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it covers one topic, and I think we'll see more of that.
I think
in the future. I have a really strong feeling that we'll be seeing the Fighter's Guide.
Yeah.
And things like that coming
I agree.
out.
Then before that, we had The Wild Beyond the Witchlight. Which I got the name right this time.
Yeah, I know. I like to pause. It's like is that it?
Yeah,
that is it. Okay.
It was an adventure book, so it's about time that we have another source book. But this source book is also a little interesting. It is a place in Eberron called Strixhaven.
Yeah,
it's a place of learning, and this is your closest thing to Hogwarts that you're going to get in D&D without making it yourself.
Yeah,
this is pre-made Hogwarts. You literally buy this book and you have your Magic Academy, which is nuts to me, but it's great.
Which for me, probably you too, a lot of other people, anything used out of it, it wouldn't be Strixhaven.
Right.
It's gonna be
it's gonna have its own name.
It's gonna have its own name, changed up a little bit. But I know it's a college. I know it's called Strixhaven, and it's got chapters.
And the way this book is broken up is a little bit interesting compared to like Ravenloft, for instance.
Okay.
Which was our last big source book.
But not the Avenger.
Right.
The Von
Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Because this is a chapter of setting information, a chapter of character options, including the new spells, the new feats, the new race.
Oh, okay. I might.
It's my favorite part about the fact that you haven't seen everything, because you might have been spoiled on this and you might not have been.
I think I have, but. We'll go on.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. But then it's 3 chapters of adventure.
Okay.
Which is really interesting for a source book.
Yeah.
Because even the
is it 3 different?
had 3 different continuing adventures.
Okay.
So it's chapters 3, 4, 5, and 6. I guess it's 4 chapters. Chapters 3, 4, 5, and 6. I can't count.
Right.
Are adventures slowly building up.
What is meant to be done as each is a session?
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
So it's very interesting. And by the end of it, you should advance to 10th level.
Okay.
So, very, very nice. 1 to 10 in the form of those adventures. And then chapter 7 is the Bestiary, Friends and Foes, New Monsters. So we'll get some good stuff there. And I wanted to touch on the disclaimer that they have here before we get into chapter 1. Because realistically, we will cover most of chapter 1 today, if not all of chapter 1. I would like us to be able to get to chapter 2 too, because I want to be able to talk about the new race, but I don't want to skip the source information, because that's the main thing we talk about.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. The adventures we'll probably just briefly touch on and then move on. But the disclaimer here is a degree from Strixhaven University does not provide protection from magic missiles, fireballs, freezing spheres, or any other deleterious effects spellcasters might generate. If you create deleterious effects, Strixhaven kindly requests you refrain from invoking any names, symbols, or other references to the university should you find yourself in a confrontation. Strixhaven University does not take responsibility for any injury of any nature sustained in the course of anything, magical or otherwise.
Of course.
Which is great.
So it's about as useful as a regular college degree.
Right.
Okay.
I do think that disclaimer is a thing you have if your party is going to this academy.
Oh, yeah.
I think you have that as part of the opening speech.
Yeah.
Of like, hey.
Yeah.
If you were to get in an altercation, please take off your uniform.
Yeah. No. And there's usually, I don't know if I can't say there always is, usually something interesting disclaimer on the copyright page.
Yes.
If you look in your books.
Yes. So Strixhaven, of course, is a college, right?
Yes.
The main thing they lay out for you first is what life at Strixhaven is like. So you have your study time with your faculty, and they give you kind of free reign on your professors and your instructors. They do give you some tables to be able to roll on, but they tell you basically like, hey, this is where the instructors would have started. This is what they focus on. Professors that have distinguished themselves want to be recognized, or instructors that have esteemed themselves over the years, distinguished themselves, become professors, and upon retiring, the professors become Mage Emeritus. And Mages Emeriti are held in high esteem and welcome to campuses as guest lecturers. So it's another option in your world if you have a character that comes from Strixhaven just as a background thing.
Yeah.
Can have a Mage Emeritus show up at one point, and then, hey.
This feels, I don't know why in my head it's mashing Hogwarts and Skyrim, the School of Magic. It's like mashing those two into my head.
Absolutely. Another big thing I want to touch on here is the way that they do students at the college is really interesting.
Okay.
And I think is really helpful for DMs, especially new DMs, but even DMs that homebrew a lot. They have your student starts a college, right? They choose a college, and then they have 2 counselors that are assigned to them.
Okay.
And so you have the one that maybe is going to be more helpful and more friendly, and the other one that maybe is going to be a little bit more different. And the examples they give here are like, maybe one of them is militaristic and wants the student to, join a military. Maybe the other is historically minded. Exactly. And the other is more like, hey, we want to find ancient relics, things like that.
Yeah.
Maybe they want the student to choose their courses based on their gut feeling, or they want them to choose them based on what fits best with what their goal is, Maybe they want the student to also study martial training while they're there. Maybe they don't. There's you can do a lot with 2 counselors per student.
Yeah.
Which I think is really interesting.
That would be an amazing thing to have in real life.
Right. Yeah, nobody has those. You don't even have your own counselor.
Yeah, right.
Everybody in the school has that one counselor, and he's never in his office. So they also have a course of study, which is where if you're running the school, you need to have a course laid out that your students will be testing on,
Unless you're Harry Potter. Did he ever go to class?
No, he went to class like the first day, and that was it. But it's really interesting to have like, hey, maybe the students will take on the majority of their classes and do great, or maybe they will only do a third of their classes and take self-study instead. And, hey, are they going to be able to pass their exams that way? It's a really interesting question.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Strixhaven goes for at least 4 years, but you can go into advanced study for many more years after that. And after people graduate, obviously they can do whatever they want, but a great number of them return to Strixhaven as instructors. Because of the
obviously
enjoyable
there's 2 counselors per student.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of people that come back. And the question then becomes, why did they come back in such great numbers? Is there some other reason that Strixhaven is so important?
Gotcha.
Is there a glamour there or a charming there that they don't even recognize that leads them to want to become members of the faculty?
When you become the 33rd rank Strixhaven Mason, then you'll know.
That's right.
Then they'll tell you.
That's right. They also get into a little bit of the administration here. Hundreds of laborers, clerks, coaches, administrators, and others. Then they give you a couple specific names, but obviously we'll get into those individual characters later, and you can make your own, of course, Thanks for the follow. Yeah.
We appreciate it.
For sure. They also get into mascots. So there are 5 colleges in Strixhaven, and they each have a mascot, which is a small creature associated with the magic of the school, and wanders that campus. Loreholds, which we'll get into the individual colleges in a minute, but Loreholds is a spirit statue.
Okay.
DM gets to choose. Chapter 7 has sections on these individual mascots. Prismari has an art elemental mascot.
Okay.
Adricks has a fractal mascot. Silverquill has an inkling mascot. And Witherbloom has a pest mascot. So, you know.
Okay.
A lot of fun that can be done there. And of course...
So an idea, but
you get... a mascot.
Well, you get to pick... I don't know. Because you still have a lot of free range there to pick your... As a DM to line out, because you don't have it exactly lined out for you.
Yes.
That's kind of cool.
That gets into the actual running of the college itself. How... most of the students get around with shuttles, large carriages drawn by horse-like automata that run on hourly schedules between the station near the Biblioplex, which we'll get into in a little bit, and each of the campuses, which is about a 15-minute journey. Each campus has multiple permanent teleportation circles, which faculty and more advanced students can use, but it does require getting up to that rank to be able to access it. And portals exist as well. They can be unpredictable. They aren't necessarily open all the time. They don't always lead to the same places, and some require complicated conditions or keys to open.
Okay.
Which is a really interesting way to do it. I'm going to bring up the map here for everybody to see. This is the central map of Strixhaven, which looks really cool. Big round area.
Okay.
With a biblioplex in the middle. Biblioplex, there's an L in that word.
Is that where you put books on your chest, your
yes.
bibliopex?
Bibliopex. When you work out. Also, for anybody that's never heard us cover a book before, I'm sorry that you only hear my voice for the vast majority of the time I read. But hopefully you enjoy my reading voice. I'm not going to get on everything in each of these areas, because again, I think as a DM, one of the things you want is the ability to kind of like freeform them too. Okay. But if you don't, you can just use these structures full tilt.
Right.
But the Biblioplex has a couple of really cool things of it. The heart of the library is a snarl, a tangle in the fabric of magic that glows like a miniature sun. Oh. And it has a star arch over it called the Dawn Bow that curves across the entire sky. Lots of places to read in there. You always have enough light because the snarl is providing the light, you know. Very, very cool. And it has 5 lines of beacon towers that radiate from it. These torches of enlightenment, as they call them, stretch out to the 5 college campuses and beyond, more than 100 miles into the surrounding countryside, to help guide people to Strixhaven.
Okay.
They burn perpetually with magical flames, symbolizing the path towards learning and an escape from ignorance. It's very, very cool. There's the Archway Commons, which is it has a park there called the Commons, or most people would just call it the Commons anyway, where people will wander through for fair weather, or go for on dates, and some clubs use the park to host their social gatherings and games. There's the Fire Jolt Cafe, which is exactly what you think it is. Of course.
Fire Jolt Cafe?
Yes.
Okay.
And of course, at a college, there needs to be a cafe.
Yeah.
There's the Bows Inn Tavern, which is at the western end of the Dawn Bow, which is pretty cool. And of course, they also give you names for NPCs for these. Like the Fire Jolt Cafe has Alina, who brews with fire magic, and Bows Inn Tavern has Tulk the Bulk Tusktooth. But you can use whatever NPC you want, obviously. And then Strixhaven Stadium, which has a mage tower.
Which is this I'm going back to Eberron's kind of steampunky, Victorian.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of the setting that they're building this in.
Mm-hmm.
Bring this up in.
So from here we get into our colleges themselves, and this is what's really going to take the rest of the episode, I believe.
Okay.
But the Lorehold College is first. This is the College of Archaeomancy, a term that describes the exploration of ancient things through magic. Its mages explore the past by poring over archaeological sites, calling forth magical energy from old tomes, and summoning the spirits of long-dead historical figures. Lorehold mages travel far and wide across the world, gathering relics of bygone ages, and learning dead languages to unpack the secrets of history. What's really cool about this to me, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, I was just going to say, cool, I am a wizard Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
So, let's go. That's
You can take any one of these colleges. Your character does not have to be magically inclined, first off.
Okay.
They could have gone to one of these colleges as a bodyguard or a mercenary or anything like that to guard some rich kid, and then devoted themselves to the following there. Okay. But you can take any one of these colleges and make them a part of your character's backstory, if Strixhaven is allowed in your campaign.
Okay.
Or even add them as a background option. As like, well, yeah, specifically I didn't just go to a college. I went to Strixhaven and I studied archaeomancy.
Okay.
Which I think is really cool. That is
cool.
That's a nice way to do that.
Yeah, so just another addition that you can do with it.
Mm-hmm. Lorehold itself, again, is pretty much about lore. It's the one that I would probably go to.
Yeah.
To be honest. It's about history, military history, social history, cultural history, archaeology, anthropology, psychology, sociology, religion, and economics. And Lorehold mages use their magic to unearth secrets and share illumination. Just like a lot of the other things in the school, there are 2 deans for Lorehold. The Dean of Order and the Dean of Chaos.
Okay.
Order versus Chaos encapsulates the fundamental conflict at the heart of Lorehold's philosophy, which is we have to learn from history, even if learning from history hurts us.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's the 2 of them. And they're not given like full character sheets in here. You can kind of make them whatever you want.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, the best way to do that. Instead of just going, hey, here's the dean.
Yeah, well, they really don't. Rarely, I don't know. It's kind of unnecessary for 5e.
I agree.
But going forward.
Yes.
We got a little bit. Sorry.
So the scholars of Lorehold, these will be the different people that either could be teachers or could just be students that have
that have
come back.
Right.
They give you a table here with a D10. And I'll real quickly run through those.
Okay.
Number 1 is Archaeoscribe, which chronicle historical truths for posterity. Number 2 is a Battle Medium, strengthening summoned spirits for use in battle. Number 3 is a Chaos Scholar, chasing down historical anecdotes as a litany of happenstance. Number 4 is a Conservator, preserving ancient spell knowledge and other relics of the past. Dust Speaker, conversing with spirits of the past to learn their stories. Past Razor, binding spirits into the monuments that bear their likeness to learn about their inspiring deeds. Have a really cool big bad that does that.
Yeah.
Relic Reader, divining wisdom from the past from the context of ruin sites. Go ahead.
Well, it's just the last one with a statue and putting a spirit in it that goes back into some old stories.
Yep.
I like that.
Ruined Shaman, wielding magic that helps delve into ancient sites. Tome Wielder, summoning fiery magic from the words in old writings. And War Singers, studying the magic used in ancient wars.
Okay.
And again, I think you could take just this table and go, hey, I have a wizard. What do I want him to study?
Yeah.
And
roll
which is very cool.
And I think that's a lot under one. I mean, that was the first college.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot under one. A lot of different titles, so to speak.
It is.
And I won 10 of them.
We get into the actual these are the NPCs, and again, they don't give you stat blocks for the professors here. Or for the deans. They do give you stat blocks later. Little spoilers for Bestiary. But they give you names for the deans if you want to use them. And little short blurbs for them. Which, again, I prefer this to, say Fizbin's, where it's like, hey, here's the Archdragon's full stat block. It's it's cool to have that.
Yeah.
But I would rather, if I'm playing around with this college, I'd rather be able to make the dean whoever I want.
Yeah, well, that's a little bit different.
It is. It absolutely is.
NPCs, but yeah, I definitely see what you're saying on that.
Mm-hmm. There's so many little hey, here's a cool NPC that could be part of this, and here's their backstory. Here's a clockwork scholar, and there's just so much that they have run down there that you can use.
Yeah. But
you don't have to if you don't want to, and so I'd rather you be able to get into those on your own when you read through the book, because again, you may choose to never use them, but maybe you want to use August Tullus, the Dean of Order.
Yeah.
And the Lorehold campus is a kind of like an archaeological dig itself. It's inside the earth, with a shuttle coming around the outside to get to it. Then there's a couple individual places in there, like the Pillar Drop, the Effigy Row, and Kalima Hall. Each one of them are tied into the actual college itself.
Okay.
But again, that's Lorehold. Very, very cool.
Better. I like it. Good start.
From here, they get far less normal.
Okay.
That's maybe the way to put it.
Okay.
So Prismari is next. And Prismari is the College of Elemental Arts, devoted to the study and practice of art intertwined with magic. The mage students of Prismari wield magic in spectacles of creativity, masterpieces of showy, over-the-top magic. They use elemental magic to express who they are and how they see the world, often combining different types of energy, fire, water, air, lightning, heat, cold, in powerful expressions of conflict and harmony.
So, like, overblown art and magic mixed together?
Yep.
Like this is the college that Chris Angel will go to?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, gotcha.
Absolutely. And their two deans are the Dean of Perfection and the Dean of Expression.
That makes sense.
And they often express the fundamental conflict of their philosophy as perfection versus expression, or sometimes as intellect versus emotion.
One of them likes classical, the other's into jazz.
Absolutely, 100%. I actually think you could do some really cool stuff with music in this too.
Yeah.
With, like, musical magic to amplify the music, you know? You could have a bard that can come from this and it would be really good. So yeah, they also have, this is a weird thing, Octavia the Living Thesis. Crafted as a graduate's final project many years ago, Octavia, a water elemental that looks like an enormous octopus, took up residence on the campus and never left. After all, in its humble opinion, every student deserves the chance to see true art in person. Mm-hmm. Some say it's incoherent, but really, Octavia is just a very conceptual thinker. Which I think is really nice. That's a fun thing, you know? We also have the scholars here. The table runs down again. We have Ethermancers studying abstract principles of beauty for insight into the workings of the multiverse.
That's cool.
Electro Visionaries, which is a great title.
Yeah, that's what I call Tesla.
Right? Wielding the forms of lightning as a paintbrush. Flame Singers, combining fire and music.
That's cool.
Geosculptors, using earth and lava in volatile emotional displays. Heart Ragers, turning inner creative fire into personal strength.
Ah.
Again, I think you could take any one of these and apply them to a bard or a wizard, maybe even a sorcerer, and you could have some really cool backgrounds.
But what you're going through, you know, honestly, I see it on just about every class.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
that's true.
That, like you were saying with the first one, right?
Yeah.
This could be a background for your fighter.
Yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, keep on going. They're doing a good job naming. I like these names.
I do too. Next up is the Ice Sculptor, which is exactly what you think it is. Crafting ice and cold into immersive experiences. The Mist Mage, shaping cloud, fog, and mist into lasting sculptures.
Yeah, right? Be an earthbender with the... Yes.
Yes.
Can make
the Muse Channeler, projecting blast of inspiration towards others.
Yeah. Okay, I'm actually a little bit off on that one.
Yeah.
Because it needs to have both sides of that.
Yeah.
If you're the Muse Channeler, it's just not all, you know, inspirational.
I want to draw inspiration from someone to give to another.
Yeah, you know, you've got to... Well, not only that, you know, sometimes if the muse upon you, it's not a good thing.
Yeah,
it's
that's
a down thing. So
that's
it needs to have... I'd probably actually put especially if I was doing music, I'd be like, all right, are you doing a major key or are you doing a minor key?
Right.
You know, so inspiration or bane.
I agree. I think that'd be really cool. Next is the Opus Mancer, creating magical effects on a monumental scale.
Yeah.
The Spectacle Mage, hurling stormy displays into the sky.
I thought every mage was a spectacle mage.
That's true. The water... Crazy. They know what they're doing here. The Water Binder.
Oh, yeah.
Shaping water into animated elemental forms.
Yeah.
And the Zephyrist, which is such a cool way to put that.
Yeah.
Weaving wind with dance.
Right. Yeah. That is a cool way to say airbender.
Now, Prismari, of course, is not going to look like Lorehold. Prismari is very much...
Oh, yeah.
The crazy spires of magic and...
Right.
You know. Yeah, Muse can drive you crazy. Absolutely. Why would it not be, you know?
Right.
And then you have the individual NPCs again, the Dean of Perfection, the Dean of Expression. They have a voice of duality. I'm probably going to get into the extra characters from now on because Lorehold was cool.
It's pretty cool.
You know?
Yeah. I'll give it a hard time, but I like it as well.
Lorehold was interesting, but it was kind of basic in some ways, you know? Because it has to be. You have to have one.
I mean, it was what I expected.
Yes.
Right?
But here we have, like, Veyron, the voice of duality, which is a professor of perfection that advocates enthusiastically for the importance of both passion and discipline. If a new student's upset or overwhelmed, she eagerly calls forth playful, beautiful, elemental creatures to cheer up the student. You know.
That would have been cool.
There's Zafi, the Thunder Conductor. I love that title. As soon as he came of age, his parents sent him to Strixhaven, assuring him his budding musical genius deserved the finest instruction in the world. However, they didn't realize... They sent him off... I'm trying to shorten it.
Right.
They sent him off because they also didn't like the fact that storms were always occurring around their house.
Okay.
And they thought he was just cursed. Turns out, no. As a mage, he was calling the storms.
Yeah.
So he is the Grand Maestro of Strixhaven's Orchestra of the Arcane.
Oh, I would love to play electric guitar in that band.
Right?
Or that orchestra.
Very, very cool. And there are, of course, some places here, too. Like the Opus Walk, where you can walk through a path that winds through the campus, which is huge and has hundreds of creations on it. Of the Conjurat Hall, which is where all the conjured elementals are. And then the Fury Gale, which is just on the outskirts of the campus. It's the abandoned creations of thousands of past artist mages that have coalesced together into a gale. Roped off by magical wards and warning signs.
Yeah.
It's so cool. I love that idea so much. Next up is Quandrix.
I would have to say, well, we know where the item is that we need.
Yep. You're not going to like it. Yeah. Quandrix is next, which is the College of Numeromancy. Study of patterns, fractals, and symmetries to wield power over the fundamental mathematics of nature. Quandrix mages can summon creatures made of fractals or turn abstract theories into towering, spiraling patterns. They love to expand and multiply. They can increase their knowledge or size by bending numbers. They dwell in the overlap between the theoretical and the natural. From the fabric of their robes to the nature of their spells, they make use of repeated elements, clever symmetries, and surprising geometry to express the complex truths they study.
Their most powerful student ever, and their biggest nemesis as well, is Kurt the Godelian.
Nope. I'm moving on.
Godel.
I'm moving on. I know.
Holy mathematics. Now, look, if you get that...
I'm moving on. I got it, but I'm moving on.
Yeah, what was that there?
The Dean of Substance and the Dean of Theory.
Okay.
So the one that is, hey, we have the proof of this, and the other that is, but with theories, we can do this much as well.
Right.
You know? Scholars of Quandrix only get a D8. Probably because it's really hard to come up with ideas for this.
Yeah. Oh, I'd like to hear what they've done.
Yeah.
With it.
So number 1 is the Abstractor, using magic to stretch the possibilities of space.
Okay.
Number 2 is the Augmenter, making creatures and things larger. Number 3 is the Fractalologist, creating beautiful illusory patterns. Mm-hmm. Number 4 is the Mana Scholar, studying snarls, ley lines, and star arches. Number 5 is the Metamancer, studying metaphysics to alter reality.
Okay.
Number 6 is the Scale Druid, manipulating the size of plants and animals.
Okay.
Number 7 is the Sequence Prophet, studying repeated patterns that bend the mind.
Yes.
Which is very, very cool.
I'm going to do that one and name it Fibonacci.
Yeah! And then number 8 is Vivifier, conjuring fractal creatures based on biological life. Quandrix is floating in the sky over a vast pit because it's possibility, which is very, very cool. It has the Dean of Substance and the Dean of Theory, as we said, and then it has a set of teachers, which are almost assuredly based on Twin Rova. Fractalologist, it's easy for you to say. Yeah, I saw that word and went, okay.
Where you go? I don't know. I'm actually a little bit disappointed with the design in this.
Yeah.
I would really like it to be a lot more, and maybe I'll do it on the inside. And I would change it.
Right.
But I don't know. Like it seems like MC Escher-ish.
Yeah.
Is how this college should look to
for me, I'm thinking when you walk in, it's one thing, but when you pass the barrier, it becomes distorted space everywhere. Yeah. You know, that's the way that I would probably throw it. But
why did I do... Have you ever seen that old cartoon? Was it Fire and Ice? Is that the one where he beats the dragon with mathematics? Or beats
yes. Yes. It also happens in...
No, that's not Fire and Ice.
No, it's not Fire. It's Flight of Dragons.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Fire and Ice is the caveman.
Yeah,
one.
he just starts throwing equations at this dragon, and the dragon's like, "Oh, no! Science is the bane of magic!" Yeah. Let's fly the dragons.
Okay.
So, the first NPCs of note here definitely are based on Twinrova from Legend of Zelda. It's the twin casters, Adricks and Nev. Twins.
Nice.
That grew up literally swimming in magic. Because there was a snarl inside their ocean. Their tritons.
Okay.
And they began to be able to see the patterns in the tides and currents that eluded even the most esteemed scholars of their society.
Wow.
Now they teach as a duo, blending mastery of both the Quandrix philosophical. I can say fractalology, but I can't say philosophical, apparently. They constantly debate the merits of various esoteric mathematical principles, but they are able to leap into action in perfect harmony, which I think is a really cool NPC to have.
Yeah.
There's a fractal theorist and a patient professor here into it as well, one of which looks like a bipedal brown bear.
Okay.
But that's just the illusion. And he's constantly keeping up, which is really interesting. And then Quandrix, of course, is that pit, and then it is a bunch of shapes, not quite non-Euclidean, but sort of there,
Okay.
I think I would have rather they leaned into that a little bit more, of course, knowing me,
Well,
But
yeah.
still, it's pretty interesting. The big thing to point out for their area is that they have a place called the Arythmodrome, which is where they have dynamic sculptures made of water behaving in odd ways. Cube-shaped fountains, arcing aqueducts that flow through the air, towers of solid-seeming water. One water structure holds a secret, a mysterious inner expanse called the Arythmodrome. From the outside, the Arythmodrome looks like a large cube of water, 10 feet on each side. The inside is apparently boundless theory space that suspends the rules of reality.
Okay.
Which is awesome. And then there's also a living theorem in there called Essex, the Fractal Bloom. A living theorem obsessed with infinity.
A little bit, yeah. Sounds like a little bit like the TARDIS.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A couple professors over the years have tried to deactivate Essex, but all their formulas ended up somehow instead dividing by zero and fizzling out. Essex never seems to register these would-be threats, as it remains consumed by its own calculations.
Okay.
Which is very interesting.
Yeah.
Next up is Silverquill. Silverquill is the College of Eloquence. And its mages, stylish, intimidating, and driven, are masters of the magic of words. They create spells from the spoken word, battle poetry, or magical manifestations of the written word, scribing patterns of runic ink in the air. These mages make for natural leaders, fiercely competitive, with a piercing wit and a never second place attitude. So this is your bards as well. College of Lore, College of Whispers, you know, College of, you're good.
Look at that, yeah.
But I also think it'd be really interesting to play a wizard from this.
Mm-hmm.
Or even more interesting, maybe an Eldritch Knight from this.
Yeah.
That, I used to use just the blade, but now I recognize how strong the pin is as well.
Right. This one I might actually play a warlock with.
Yeah. Back to the tome?
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. The two deans are the Deans of Radiance and the Dean of Shadow.
Okay.
Highlighting the college's use of metaphor and describing its philosophical differences. The metaphor of radiance and shadow takes concrete form in their magic, the Silverquill magic, as students learn to manifest brilliant light or inky darkness with their spells. The fundamental argument among Silverquill scholars centers on the purpose of communication. Is it to help others or further a personal agenda? Does literature selflessly better society or selfishly advance one's own goals? Very interesting. Now, we have our scholars, of course. The Banter Mage. Using incisive observation to pierce rivals' confidence.
Yeah. The Banter Mage.
I love it. I love it so much. The Dusk Mage. Conjuring inky voids of shadow magic. Can I play a Banter Mage next?
No.
The Ink Caster. Summoning living inklings to service.
Okay.
The Luminancer, which is a really cool name. Mm-hmm. Bringing light to bear on shameful situations and holding corrupt institutions to account. The Shade Wing, forming weapons from darkness to slice and stab at foes.
There, you said Shade Wing, and my brain went Dark Wing.
Right.
No, stop.
Silver Tongue, bathing others in the light of inspiring words.
Sorry, back one.
No,
yeah, I would say I am the terror that flaps in the night if I played that character.
100%.
I'm sorry.
100%.
If I was a Shadow Wing.
The Vainglory, wielding the power of a perfectly crafted compliment to enhance a person's best qualities. And the War Singer, stirring hearts through poetic performances and song. Silverquill's facility, or their actual like buildings, are far more what you'd expect of a college.
Yeah.
It is the big, huge building with, they have to look the part. The stately buildings. They have, again, the Dean of Radiance and the Dean of Shadow. But they also have a Demagogue, which is Brina, who has a talent of getting her way. If she wants you to do something...
Demagogue?
Okay. You won't just do it. You'll be sure it was your idea all along, because she will talk you into it. Which is really interesting. She's just an elite mage that is really good at convincing people of things.
Yeah. I have no more comments on that one.
I also love this one, which is Nils, the Discipline Enforcer. He's an optimist, as he believes in every student's potential for greatness. However, this outlook also means he's constantly disappointed by their suboptimal choices, and he's well known for his strictness and abrupt scoldings.
Or as we call father.
Yep, that's pretty much it. Just the idea of this guy that's like, I'm here to make sure, you're going to do great. Oh, you did wrong again. All right, come here.
Right. There's
Bryneth Blackstone, the Scriptology Star. He's a rising star in the study of magical writing and symbols. He's a Dampier, and he attracts students from all across Strixhaven because of his dynamic lecturing style.
Okay.
And then, of course, we get into the buildings, and the big ones are the Grand Loft Hall, which is the big hall, the Rose Stage, which is the backdrop for all your big... Yeah, right. Rose Stage is the backdrop for all your big performances and your duels. And then the Dramarium, which is where they train in fitness, dance, martial arts, and other acts of physical performance.
Oh, that is the most perfect name I've ever heard for a theater group.
It is. I love it so much. And then finally we get to Witherbloom College. The College of Essence Studies. Mages draw power from the opposing forces of life and death. These mages brew their spells from natural components and the essence of living creatures, using that power to heal or harm the living or to raise and treat the dead. They can cause entire forests to blossom out of nowhere or call down old curses that scourge flesh from bone. Some Witherbloom mages defend ecosystems from pollution, while others revel in the power of corruption. They're at home riding crocodiles down a languid river, picking herbs for a potion to treat a disease, brooding over a chorus of swamp frogs, or summoning fearsome avatars of nature.
That's cool.
We have the Dean of the Root and the Dean of the Vein, which is a really cool way to split those up. The Root being growth, the Vein being decay, and of course you can see why those have which one is the true nature of life.
Yeah, don't Google those together.
Yeah. And the scholars are the Banelock.
Okay.
Using concoctions of noxious ingredients for withering magic.
Yeah. The
Bleed Doctor, draining the essence of living creatures to fuel sinister spells.
Yeah.
The Boon Witch, brewing drafts to empower the living.
Is this Slytherin?
Right. Maybe a little bit. The Bow Caller, summoning creatures from bogs.
Yeah.
The Dreadbones, infusing dead tissue with magic to create undead servants. Mm-hmm. The Earth Croucher, connecting directly with the land to power nature magic, which is such a cool name for that, Earth Croucher.
Yeah. The
Leaf Binder, using medicinal herbs to soothe wounds. And the Pest Catcher, harvesting life energy from the pests of the bayou. And then this is Witherbloom.
Yeah.
So it is exactly as you would expect.
Kind of swampy.
Yeah. Life and death meet and work together. You get the bayous.
Yeah. I'm sure that's off a Magic the Gathering card. One of the black cards. Yeah.
You have the Dean of the Root, the Dean of the Vein. But you also have the Essence Seer, which is a treant called Willow Dusk. Nobody really knows how old she is. But this Professor of Growth claims to be older than Strixhaven itself. And some people think she exaggerates. No one has really lived long enough to tell her she's wrong.
Right.
And many years ago, a group of rebellious students got lost in Detention Bog, which we'll get to in a minute, and took shelter in what turned out to be Willow Dusk Root. She protected them from a pack of hungry Groffs and shepherded them back to Wittershin's Hall, offering a lecture on proper herb gathering practices during the journey. You also have Tivash, the Gloom Summoner.
I like that.
It's tough to study the secrets of life and death without getting your hands dirty, which is the first thing Tivash teaches Witherbloom students. Some call the Force he manipulates evil, but he asserts that power is only as good or evil as you will use it.
Tivash?
Tivash, yeah.
Tivash, okay. I like it.
There's also the Grave Gardener, Eudora, who's the head groundkeeper and official undertaker of Strixhaven. Students and graduates often wish to spend their afterlife at their beloved university, and she honors that wish. Again, are they so drawn to it? Which is another thing that you can,
Yeah.
Each tree she plants represents the essence of a fallen mage, and she remembers them all by name. There's also a troll chef named Guillaume.
That's cool.
But the campus itself is exactly as you would think. Sedgemoor is the big hall. Or the big bayou, that is, around the hall. Widdershins Hall is, of course, the big hall. But the big thing to talk about is Detention Bog, right?
Yeah.
A stinking, thoroughly unpleasant marshland lies adjacent to Sedgemoor, the Detention Bog. Witherbloom faculty members send misbehaving students to this bog as punishment, but it's also an excellent place to gather herbs for certain curses and cures. And those are the 5 campuses and Strixhaven itself.
That's pretty cool. I mean, that's a good mix.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and you could do. I mean, you could use any one of those colleges as a setting for a whole group. You wouldn't even have to use all of them.
Absolutely. Which one's your favorite?
Oh man. Probably at the end of the day, the Prismari.
Yeah.
Mathematics and that was the mathematics and
yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, mathematics is Quandrix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably, I don't know. It's tough between Prismari and Quandrix.
Yeah.
I like Quandrix.
The creepy looking ones, the Witherbloom for Waverly.
And because I don't know. I think Quandrix. What is it?
Quandrix.
Yes. Excuse me. Quandrix. That's interesting because of mathematical theorems.
Right.
The incompleteness theorem and things like that would be interesting. I don't know, man.
The drum one.
I
think I would make a character that went to Lorehold, but I also think Quandrix is probably the most interesting of them. Though I love Prismari's, hey, this is all the magic that people used before that was failed. Yeah. And it's all gathered together.
Well, there's little things about each one that are really cool. Even if it's just like just a simple on that last one, the Banelock.
Yeah.
That was just a cool name.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? So
and Banter Mage.
Yeah, Banter Mage. Yeah.
Words are hard, math is hard, that's true.
Yeah. Hard. Okay.
I think Strixhaven so far is a really cool book. I think that next week we'll come in, because it's far too late to start talking about a new race now. Next week we'll come in with the new races, the new backgrounds, the new feats, the new spells, the new magic items.
Okay.
And then the week after that, we'll probably touch on the adventures just a little bit, and then move into the bestiary. When is Christmas?
On the 25th.
25th. Yeah, you got me. Let's see. Just making sure.
It's a Saturday, I think.
Yeah, so we will still have a show that week. Just making sure.
Yeah, I think we're clear for the rest of the year for shows on both nights.
Yeah. So I like Strixhaven so far.
I do too. It's a good setup. Man, real easy to go if you wanted to run it in Skyrim or run Hogwarts. Man, it's a real easy move over. Like I said, each one is a setting in and of itself. So,
yes.
and I think it's a pretty stout setting too.
I wanted to touch on a couple things too, just real quick that we didn't hit.
Okay.
Which is there is a section at the start of the book. It's not technically a chapter. It's like a chapter 0, right?
Mm-hmm.
That gets into, hey, like, an Academy of Mages would be like this, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It gets into the world itself, which is Eberron, which is Magic the Gathering's world, you know?
Yeah.
Or no, I'm sorry, it's not Eberron.
No, that was the one that
Arcavios.
What?
Is the world for Magic the Gathering. Arcavios.
Okay.
But they said you could use it in Forgotten Realms or Eberron or whatever, you know? Maybe it's part of Sigil, which is a really cool idea, actually. Maybe it being a part of Sigil.
Yeah.
Because Sigil's huge. They get into what a Snarl and a Star Arch are, you know? And then the last big thing that it's not going to come up anywhere else in this book. So I'm unsure why it happens here at all. But the founders of each of the schools were dragons. Of each of the colleges.
Why do people keep coming back?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, these founder dragons for Lorehold, the dragon was Velomachus Lorehold. For Prismari was Galazeth Prismari. You can see where the names come from. Tanazir Quandrix, Shadrix Silverquill, and Beladros Witherbloom.
Okay.
And they get into how the Oracle of Strixhaven was the wisest and most accomplished mage in all of Arkevios, and selected by the founder dragons to start Strixhaven itself. And then that's how it happens.
Okay.
So, something to ponder, something to think about. You know, there's going to be some stuff coming.
That's an interesting little tidbit to throw in there.
Mm-hmm. But, like I said, next week we'll come back with...
Especially that, it kind of fits, though, with it coming off one book.
Yeah, coming off Fizbin's.
Yeah, coming into this one.
Mm-hmm.
So going through. And then, we really don't have much more to cover in this book because we're not doing the adventures, so we don't...
Right.
We're not going to do spoilers or anything.
Next week will be the big one, and then after that is Bestiary, really.
Okay.
So, we'll probably be done with this by the end of the year, if things continue apace.
Okay, good deal. I want that. Start fresh next year with something. I don't know. I'm still waiting for these two classic expansion worlds
said they're coming.
setting. Yes. Yeah. Got my ideas of what they are, but I'm 100% on what one of them is.
Yeah, it's Dragonlance.
Yeah. 100% on Dragonlance.
Yeah, you don't bring in the Draconians and then...
3 more Thursday. Yeah, we'll be done. We'll finish this book before that. For sure. Thank you.
You don't bring in the Draconians and not...
No, and
mention Takshish by name.
Or Dragonlance. Go ahead and give us the Dragonlance.
Yeah, it's coming.
I did that for look, for people who just give that to them, so the people that know they can go ahead and start.
That's right.
Change up the halfling a little bit, and then I know.
Then we can get Spelljammer or Greyhawk or whatever the other one's going to be. I'm tired of waiting to find out.
Greyhawk would be a really interesting one.
Yeah.
To put out, because that's a very unique world.
It very much is.
That's where you get your original gunslingers from.
So I have one last question before you on Strixhaven this week.
Okay.
Which is, based on what you've read so far, would you use Strixhaven by the book, or would you still homebrew it, just using the locales and the layouts?
I'm still going to homebrew it.
I will too.
It's easier for my brain.
Right.
On that. Also, who's around my table?
Right.
You've got to cut, honestly, if I'm running an adventure for a bunch of theater kids.
Right.
Hey.
I'm going to the Dramarium.
Yeah. Exactly. If I've got some, people who are interested in math.
Yeah.
Quandrix
time.
Yeah. I don't know. Artists. Overall, man, I'm kind of happy with it. Like I said, everything's in an individual setting. You can use just one or all 5.
That's right.
Or shoot, you could do 5 different sessions going through, going through each college. I'm trying to find out where they're supposed to be.
And one thing to mention real quick for anybody that doesn't have the book, because I know I didn't read everything, is that students don't have to just do one college. They can take courses in any of the colleges, but the more courses they take in one college, the more their magic is going to focus that way. So that's part of the reason why they have 2 counselors, is try and help them find the right balance.
Right. Not to that, you don't have to pick your major right off the bat.
Right.
Get some classes in.
We'll be your 2 counselors. And when you get done, join the middle. No.
That way you can pay us our money. I don't know. Looking forward to the bestiary on this. I'm sure they got some cool stuff in here.
Yeah.
Going with it.
Don't spoil Rundgren on the new race. I want him to try and guess. He might have already been spoiled, but I want him to try and guess. And I absolutely want him to guess on what the new feats and spells are, because I don't think he's going to see those coming.
Yeah, I've got no idea. I think the new race is owlish.
Okay.
But that's all I got.
I'm not confirming or denying anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We'll find out soon.
Tune in next week to find out.
So where do you stack so far with this one with the past 2.
I think Ravenloft is still the best book. Oh, you said past 2. Sorry. I think
it'd be Ravenloft, the Ravenloft book, and Fizban's, right?
Yeah. Okay, so we're skipping Witch Beyond the Wild Night.
I'm sorry.
Wild Beyond the Witch Night.
Yeah.
Dang it! I said it right earlier. How did I mess it up now?
Yeah. So out of that past 4.
Okay. Out of those, I still think Ravenloft, Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft is like the best book we've gotten in a long time.
Yeah.
But I think this has a lot of cool ideas. For me right now, it's Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, Strixhaven, Wild Beyond the Witchlight, Fizban's.
Okay.
Because I like Fizban's a lot, but I find it far less generally useful and far more specifically useful. You know?
Yeah. For me, Fizban's and the which one, the Wild Beyond the Witchlight, they are switched.
Yeah.
Fizban's.
That's fair.
Fizban's in second place right now.
That's
for
fair.
me. The Ravenloft's still number 1 though.
Yeah.
That's
Incredible book.
Yeah, for both DMs and players.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of good
100%.
stuff in there. Lots of good stuff. Oh, how much coffee I got? Let me see. I'm still doing pretty good. I got a little bit left. You got any other topics to go over?
Not really that I can think of. We should mention coming up, one of the things that people obviously will know if they've been keeping up with the channel. If you're watching this on YouTube tomorrow, you might be surprised that you saw this and not the Game Awards reaction. Due to some stuff, we decided not to do the Game Awards tonight. We're going to talk about them Tuesday on the podcast. So that will probably be the entirety of that podcast, too.
Oh, I imagine. Imagine no reviews or news, but yeah, just going over.
Yeah, because it's going to be a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's happening right now if you're watching this. So, you know, I'm going to do my best and just not look at Twitter.
Yeah.
And then maybe if I get... I don't know, I have some people that send me trailers for stuff that they want to see me react to blind. And if they send me those trailers, then I might do some trailer reactions. But otherwise, it's just, you know, we'll talk about it Tuesday.
Yeah, we can't really do that on a Tuesday, though.
Right. So
that'd be kind of cool to be able to do the reactions.
It would.
On a Tuesday, but I don't know how we can...
We'd have to watch the entirety of the show back. And then edit it down to just the trailer reactions.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Which we could do. It's just that we could do that live Tuesday, honestly. Just watch the entire thing. But
yeah.
Man.
What is it? The setup in the Discord?
Watch together in there?
Yeah.
We could, but just so you know, it's a 4-hour show.
Yeah. I don't want to jump in right at the beginning either.
Yeah.
Because there's always a bunch of
ads every time.
Yeah.
Hey, this is brought to you by Samsung. Sure. But what about the games, though?
Yeah. Yes. Get to it! Everybody's got to show off. What about talk about games that have been out that we like? We don't like games that are coming out.
Talk about Fortnite for another half hour.
Look, you've had E3. Let's have this, okay?
Come on, please. But we'll let you know whatever we're doing. We'll do a community post or something for it and tweet it out and whatever we plan on doing. But that's where we're sitting at with that right now.
All right. Well, that was my last swig of coffee.
Okay.
So.
Well, until next week then, or actually until Tuesday, I have been Trey.
I've been Roman.
And we've been the Full Spectrum D&D podcast. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum that D&D and Strixhaven has to offer. Let us know which comment you would choose or college you would choose in the comment section down below.
Yeah.